Father, again, thank you for another beautiful day given to us, opportunity to again serve our city. We ask your guidance and direction here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, again, welcome. Call to order. City of Stanton, the regular meeting at Stanton City Hall, June 13, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. First item will be the approval of our regular meeting minutes, May 9th, 2024. Could I have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
And a second? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Second item is to approve our special meeting minutes on May 23rd, 2024. I have a motion on that? Okay. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, any opposed? All right, motion carries. Our next item is public comments. Okay, Jane? Sorry.
I was here in February and we discussed that how the people are speeding on East College Avenue.
Yes.
We discussed that.
Yes, correct.
And you had a cop sitting right back there, if you remember. And we talked about if it writes some tickets, that might help the deal. And where we get around to get fined for that speeding. Okay? And he said, would you like me to go out there and write some tickets? And you said, I'd love for you to. I don't know if there's been a ticket wrote yet out there. I spent 4 months.
Yeah, we don't have any.
You try that and see if it don't work. They're running 60 miles an hour through there, and that's the only place in town they can do that and get away with it out there. Yeah, all the rest of the streets is 35 miles an hour. But they come in from Bowen and over east, and they never check till they turn that curve and at Airport Road, and then they got to stop, or they go hit somebody right there.
Yeah, it's a state highway, so they're the ones that determine, the miles per hour. Yeah,
It's 45.
it's 45 there.
45 until
I
it gets
mean, they don't stop till they get down there to 35 miles on. They're coming 60 miles an hour till they get to that.
Yeah.
I need to get you one of those.
I'm not the police.
No, but that way you'll be able to say how many coming down there at 60 miles an hour.
It's no place to try that. You try it, pull them out there and let them write a few tickets. It'll be good for the city. You'll get more revenue off that. It'll keep wrecks down. They done had a collision up the other day. I mean, like an atomic bomb went off out there.
All right, I'll ask Grant about it, and they're away this week, but I'll try to get to it next week. All right.
Well, I'm seeing on television where Georgetown and these other towns, they're cracking down on the stuff going on in their town.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate if y'all do that.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
We can't get in and out of our driveway. Oh, wait just a minute.
Bruce, fine. Oh, Bruce. All right. I'm not done with you. Go ahead.
Okay,
No, go ahead.
Well, I can pull out my driveway, I can look left and right. It's a long stretch each way. Tommy knows that. There won't be nothing in sight. Okay, I take off and get out and pull that truck shift gear. I look up in the mirror and there's one sitting on the back end. That truck, that's how fast they're coming.
Okay.
If you don't believe me, come out there and I'll show you.
No, I believe you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Rudy.
Yes. As most of you know, I live right here on Court Street, so I have a front row seat to what our emergency people are doing, whether it's Stanton Police, Sheriff, Fire Department, and of course the EMS. So I would like to know when we will get some kind of a public discussion from and with you about what we're going to do about the 911 salaries that has been requested. I really haven't seen any kind of discussion at all. I, for one, am very concerned that we do something. And I know there are several options, but I think that's something that should be discussed openly and with everyone.
I think that we had informed Eddie and Larry and them that right now when our insurance premium tax kicks in July 1 of this year, we will not get payments starting until the end of October. And then we're gonna look at that, and then we'll make a decision about helping them with the hiring of dispatchers.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the end of October is when we
Yeah, I
can
think
expect
Teresa,
discussion?
right, end of October,
We
we
just
should
don't
have,
have it
we should
done.
have a pretty good idea.
We don't have, that's where the funding is gonna have to come from. It's
I
not-
understand that,
Yeah.
but I just want to be sure that we're going to see public discussion on this
Yeah,
issue.
we're just as concerned as you are, but we want to kind of delay it. They don't need it until January, I think is what Eddie told me. And so we'll, as we see what comes in because of the insurance premium tax, we'll be able to make an informed decision.
I appreciate your information, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Joey?
Over here out the way, I can't. I just wanted to bring you all up to date. Of course, we're having the Drift Appalachia event tomorrow. Spoke with some of the drivers today in Stanton. They were up at Stanton Dairy Queen. Edgar Sarmiento out of Indianapolis and another gentleman. And they were there at Dairy Queen, like you said, getting something to eat. Then spoke with Mr. Eric Hubbard earlier as well. He was at the drive-in, didn't know he was coming. He's one of them ones, Larry can tell you, he just pops in. He's in Beattyville tonight up in Lee County at one of their meetings. He went by the drive-in and done a live video, if y'all want to go on Facebook, and was inviting everybody to come out to the drive-in tomorrow night. And he said that they were going to have 47 drift cars parked in front of the screen, and then all the local cruise-in Jeeps, all of them vehicles are. Tokyo Drift will be shown following around probably about 8:30 or so. Ignite will be doing the concessions, and then Papa John's Pizza will be up there. So I look for, like Larry talked about, we look for an overflow crowd up there tomorrow night. I think it will absolutely. He said they had a gentleman from Texas that was coming, and he's got a following that's coming. We got 3 international drivers coming, 1 from Australia and 2 from Japan. These guys are professional drivers. They are the real deal. I mean, this is not what you see out on the roadways. When they leave the drive-in, you won't see burn-off marks and all of that. They're very professional with what they do. But the reason I asked to speak tonight, after this event, I had went to the AMVETS on June the 2nd, the first Sunday in June. They have their monthly meetings in Clay City. And we've been discussing, I talked with the mayor and a few other people about having a Veterans Day parade in Stanton. I pulled up a photo and found one in 1948. They done a parade on North Main Street, and it was for Memorial Day weekend, but the road was dirt. It showed the veterans, showed kids, everything through on the most street, like the Powell County Lions Club. But to get to the point real quick, went to the AMVETS. The commander was extremely nice. Everyone, the ladies auxiliary, they asked me to get up and I just spoke. We had discussed it previous at our Stanton tourism meeting, and our chair lady asked me, she said, do you want to go speak and talk with them? And I said, yes, I'll go. Donna Broom was going to be there as well, but there was an illness come up. She couldn't be there, or Vicky couldn't be there. So they are excited, and we are going to be announcing, and like you said, this is not sponsored by the tourism, this is a community parade. But at our meeting on Tuesday night, we'll be coming, I will be asking the tourism for us to help with advertising through WSKV and through the Patriot newspaper for advertising for this. And I'm just going to read this briefly. We will be having our first annual Independence Day community parade for our veterans of Powell County on 7/5/2024 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The state has already approved for the road closure. Kincaid has sent to the mayor. They've already sent a letter in. The road closure has been approved for 3 hours from Elkin Street, where Whitaker Bank is, 213, turning down on Court Street, and then the parade will end at the Powell County Veterans Park. There will be a ceremony following. I talked with the Powell County Veterans Association. I talked with the American Legion, the Ladies Auxiliary, and them at Post 67. They're all on board. Each one of those will have a speaker that will be representing their entity. And we will have chairs set out, that will have the water fountains up and going. So this is something for the entire community. People can come. Go ahead.
Sorry. Have the police and EMS been involved in those conversations?
The mayor, we talked about the police. As far as the EMS, I don't think we've talked with anyone, but I think the police We've,
Only because of the impact it may have on routes to get in and out, or if you have an issue during the parade, you know what I'm saying?
I haven't talked to him yet, but we always talk to him pre,
Okay.
yeah.
so, okay. thank you.
Sorry, that's my only.
Yeah, that's,
Different.
so it'll be, like you said, it'll be similar to what the Kiwanis Christmas Parade is, where they start at Whittier Bank, except it's just gonna run straight through the red light. It's gonna go down to Court Street, turn, and then that day, City Hall's closed on that Friday, and the county, the courthouse is closed on Friday in observance for the 4th of July. This will not have any interference whatsoever with what Clay City's having theirs on July the 6th, on Saturday, all their festivities. So we've coordinated with them, so they're aware that everything they're doing on Saturday, our event will be Saturday morning, or Friday morning.
Okay, great, thank you.
And, thank you, Mark. So, the parade will start on Elkin Street and down Highway 213 North Main Street and end at the Powell County Veterans Park. There will be a ceremony followed for the veterans. You must be there present around 9:30 a.m. to line up. Please decorate your vehicles, your ATVs, truck, floats, Jeeps, red, white, and blue. Also, people walking will also be allowed to throw out candy. For more information, you can contact Stanton City at 606-663-4459. And Teresa, if you want to, if someone was to call, you can give them my phone number if you want to. And so on this, the Ladies Auxiliary will also, they will have food that they will be selling at the Powell County Veterans Park. All proceeds will go back for their Christmas with a Smile. That program is for all the children in Powell County, where they buy bicycles, toys, and stuff throughout the year. It's their biggest fundraiser of the year. So they will be doing, Debbie Pilfer's the president of the Ladies Auxiliary. So everybody that buys something there, 100% of the proceeds will go back into that Christmas fund to provide and buy toys and gifts for the kids at Christmas time in Powell County. So it's just not for Stanton, it's for everyone in the county. They also, the AMVETS does a scholarship program, that if a senior is in high school and a parent has been a veteran, you are eligible for a certain amount of funding for that child to go to college. They also work with the community organizations about buying clothing, whatever it may be, community-based organizations throughout the year to provide clothing for children throughout the school that names are listed. They do an Easter egg hunt, of course, at the park, but the biggest is Christmas with a Smile, and I've even volunteered and told them that I would help them this year with that event, with the Christmas with a Smile, going to the AMVETS, because they have to wrap the presents, they have to help hand them out, so I'm going to volunteer to do that this fall when they get ready for it. But no, Mark, this is something for our entire community, the city of Stanton. Of course, the mayor will be speaking as well. The mayor will speak. Judge Eddie Barnes will be speaking. He'll be speaking on behalf of the county because it will be held at the Powell County Veterans Park. But you'll have someone represented from the AMVETS, from the American Legion, the Powell County Memorial Veterans Association, and the Ladies Auxiliary. And this is to honor our veterans on the Independence Day. This actually will be, as far as I know, Dixie's been around Palm Tommy, one of the first parades that we've had for our veterans. Hugh Reed with the American Legion has already reached out and said that they will be carrying the flags in the front of the parade. We've asked everybody to let the veterans get us close up front, and then everybody follow in. Dean down at Mr. Ed's Hot Dogs, he said people could come there in his lot. There'll be people set up just like everything else. It won't be, like you said, this is our first trial. We're looking at having one for Veterans Day as well in November. So we're looking at this will be an annual thing each and every year. And like you said, so the tourism's not sponsoring it. I'll just be asking the tourism on Tuesday night for advertisement through the Patriot, and also to advertise with WSKV. And also, we want to reach out to Victor 27 News about covering as well. We can put it on our social media pages. I think it'll go well. I spoke with Gail Means yesterday. Gail said they're getting ready to power wash, get all of the Veterans Park clean. He said they'll have to use extension cord as of now since the building's down for electricity, and that they're going to have the water fountains up and going. He said, Joey, he said, I think this is great. The flags will be up as they are in town now. You know, folks, I'm going to tell you something. Eric stopped the other morning and actually scared me a little bit. He pulled up, I was at Whitaker Bank unraveling a flag. And he put up, said, you need to be home. I just got off work at 6 o'clock. I go every morning downtown and just unravel flags. Those will stay up through the 4th and have those up. It's been a hard chore with that because they ravel around. Dixie's made a suggestion in the past about putting weights on the end of them to keep them from doing that. But I feel like that's a small thing compared to what our veterans have sacrificed. Any veteran in here tonight, I just want to say thank you for your service, and I appreciate what you've done for serving our country. And this parade is strictly about our community. This is not about any organization, and to give back to our veterans. So I would ask that if you come out to the ceremony following the parade, buy a hamburger, hot dog, whatever they have, because those proceeds will go to Christmas with a Smile, and that money will help the children in Powell County. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, before I went to Grant, I wanted to get through tomorrow's event, because they're working on this on that.
Joey, thank you for all your hard work. And don't no one notice.
Well, I appreciate that, and I want to thank you all for your all support as well. Like you said, I feel like it's a strong team, and like you said, I just felt like coming tonight. I know we have the event tomorrow, and I was waiting. We've got a flyer that we'll start releasing, and we're ready to get. It ain't just about, it ain't me or anyone else. It's about all of us together, our city, our tourism, all of us working together. And like you said, because I feel like that whatever we do to improve our city, it's helping bring people into our community and our local citizens as well. Beautification of the city to me is a very important thing. At some point, I'd like to see some real nice hanging baskets on our poles, but we can do more to beautify our city. But thank you, I appreciate that.
Anyone else?
Well, if I may, as far as your speeders on the West Cotton or East College, I can tell you through the dispatch center, them guys log a lot of traffic stops in. Coming from that area, all your Stanton police does. Now, as far as ticket writing, we don't know, the outcome of it, but, and they do the MBTs as well. They do the mobile dispatch, they create their own cans. There is traffic stops taking place, now, the outcome, I cannot tell you that.
Yeah, I knew there was, because I know a guy stood up there by the drive-in.
Yes, there's lots of traffic stops that are being logged in.
Yeah.
You know, there was an officer that used to sit up there all the
Yeah.
time, I don't know who it was, but.
Did you hear that, James?
Why?
Okay, Larry will tell you.
Judge, I was telling the city council there, the far as the traffic or the speeders on there, whether they're being stopped for speeding or whatever, I can tell you that they are. The Stanton Police Department are logging in traffic stops in that area. The outcome, as far as the citation issued or whatever like that, we just close it as call complete or log. But there is traffic stops taking place. I can tell you, whatever the offense may be, I don't know that. But I can tell
I
you.
live out there,
I
I
understand
know
you
what
do.
happens.
I understand you do. That's
And
correct.
it's getting ridiculous. And I do know, anytime you write tickets for speeding, that the word gets around, you don't want to do that, you're gonna pay a fine, you understand?
If the court proceeds like that, that's correct. Them guys write them and they go to court,
It's a shame, we out there homes, I've been out there 50 years.
I understand you have.
And there's a third less back them days of traffic. Of course, we can't do about that, but they don't need to come through town 60 miles an hour either.
But like I say, I can just tell you there is traffic stops taking place. What the offense may be, that I have no idea. But I can tell you Stanton police officers are doing traffic stops in that area.
And there's a sign out there, 75 foot my driveway, and it says no passing, and they're going around like it. It's going to be another right away. You can't fit, they ain't got room to get around. And if you're coming up the street from town to my house, if you don't turn your flasher on down to church, way down at the church parsonage, and hit your brake every time, they're gonna push you in the driveway.
And that's a possibility. You're
There's no
correct.
sense in anybody driving with that intensity, nowhere.
Why not park one of those extra squad cars in this yard for a month or two?
That's who what?
Squad cars in your yard for a month or two, they've got something just sitting out there, we just sit in your yard and then, that's slow.
Dummy car?
Yeah, a lot of cities, do a dummy
That's what
car.
officers are for, is to direct the traffic. And
Well, more than that, but that's part of their job.
Oh, yeah, they've done a big job. They've
That's
done-
part of their job.
But if you've got 6 of them in this small town, I think there can be some out there checking
Well, they
the
don't work,
speed.
they don't all work at the same time.
There's one state boy sits out there and he checks some speed.
Yeah, they come down, we see them down here.
How many of those readers do we have that show? How many of
I
those?
think just one reader.
We get 2 more coming.
We got 2 more,
Okay.
yeah.
Because
That's good.
I think that those are good too. They just kind of, bring awareness to people's minds how fast they are.
Well, we got one out there on 213 as you're coming across Mount Sterling. They're still flying until they get right up on it. And then they see it, it goes down to 60, 45, 35.
Well,
They're hitting their brakes.
At least they're hitting their brakes
Yeah,
before
it's
they
true.
get to town.
Well, there's one in my neighborhood, I think they were trying to see how fast
When I
you
looked
could
at
go.
him on my end of town before we get there.
All right, anybody, anyone else? Thank you so much. Next item is the mayor's reports, and I always like good news. How many of you like good news? Everybody like good news? Yeah. Who won the lottery? I mean, no. I almost feel like we have as a city. I got a letter, again, notifying the city of Stanton received a line item grants from the state in the amount of $2 million.
Yay.
And this is awarded for water and sewer. So I'm already working with Paul Nesbitt, he's our engineer. We're gonna kind of prioritize, I'll bring it then to the city council, and then we can kind of see what direction it'll take us as a city. So it's gonna help our infrastructure, which is very, very important, especially when it regards growth. And so that's always good news. I also have good news on another front, but I can't announce it yet until they tell me I can. It's from the federal government, but it's also good news that's really surrounding our infrastructure, water and sewer, very, very important. You know that there's all kinds of growth happening right now, construction right out there by the high school and the middle school. There's an elementary school going there, there's a prep academy going there, there's probably a library in the future, and a health department. So, and they're starting the expansion, the right of way. They're taking the utilities now, they're moving them, and they'll be starting that here just as soon as they get done. So, I don't know, maybe one day you might want to avoid that area, especially September, October, November, December, all the way through. And so we ourselves, we're starting some projects also here in the future, hopefully in the fall, with our Paint Creek, new tower that'll start, and then our I&I project, which we'll address here just in a few moments. So I don't know how many projects. I know also from the expansion, the road from airport down to, what is the street there? By the depot, Marshall Street. That's out to bid now. Bids are in by June 18. And as soon as they get that started, there's another big project. They're doing drainage and grading there. So we're part of that because we're going to add a sidewalk, as a part of that as a city. So lots of really good things happening in Stanton, and so it's a great and wonderful time.
What about the Elkin Street? Is there any?
Elkin Street, all we're waiting on, just like last month, is just waiting for the easement approval from the state. State permit got to come for the I&I and the easements there, and once that's done, we can put that out to bid, and we could probably get that done this year too. It's nice to see all that money coming this way instead of back Lexington or Louisville and those kinds of things.
Where's the federal government getting all that? Taxpayers.
I'm not even going to answer that, James. I'll let you figure that out.
If we want a place that we want to live in, we have to pay for it. It all doesn't come freebie, folks. But we gotta watch our pennies still.
We do. Okay. Next item is our loan for the airport sewer project. Just an update on this. You remember the city council did approve last year in October to pursue a loan at Whitaker Bank for $200,000. Well, we really don't need that much right now, and I don't want to go out there and get $200,000. And the actual project probably not going to start till the fall. And so right tonight we're requesting from the city council to approve $45,000. And again, this is going for engineering, engineering fees. So if I can get a motion on that, that'd be great. All right, and a second? All right, and all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, Chris is going to start on these next few, and there's one.
Can I ask you a question back on the mayor report?
Yeah.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm just curious because I got called out and talked about it at the courthouse. What's the issue on the West Church Street sewer inspection?
Yeah.
We
had a guy.
I know we got somebody bailed out, but I wanted to say
No.
it out loud. But
Okay, we had a guy, and basically we kept contacting him. He said he was going to do it. Contacting him. He said he was going to do it. Contacting him. We can't contact him.
That's the one we approved.
Right,
now.
one we approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had another one. He came, gave us a bid. You want me to give you the bid number?
It's a lot higher than the original, I tell you.
$81,000.
That's double.
No, more than that. That's 6 times. Yeah, that's much.
16.
Yeah, so it's way out of bounds. So now I'm just continuing to ask. I'm speaking with Scott Smith, who kind of works with us, an independent contractor. He's trying to contact some of his contacts, and I'm trying to find others.
So
The status
we have all agreed to do the work and
Yes.
approve the work. We're
That's
just
not-
having trouble getting a contract.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's amazing. Okay, Chris, is one is it's not on there, but it's the zoning ordinance. And if you just want to address that in a minute, and then we had approved it, or you presented it to us. You got approval through the planning commission, correct? And so you're presenting it to us for approval tonight.
So you want to do the ordinance first?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason we didn't get it on the agenda, but
The zoning ordinance, he emailed it to you back in.
Is that the 100-page?
Yeah, 109
We're talking about
Yeah,
we're not talking
109
about
pages.
divisions, we're talking about the entire.
the full zoning ordinance was originally adopted in 1992. There have been a few amendments by ordinance to it, and most of those have been some additional allowable uses in commercial and some conditional uses in residential. But it's never been looked at as the whole document and updated since the 92 when it was originally adopted.
But this document that you sent us for review is not included in that.
No.
That's
That would
separate.
have to be done by an ordinance.
Right.
Didn't change.
You want to look at it when you send us for review?
Make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
This. Oh, this is the animal control. We're talking about the zoning.
It's not part of the zoning though.
Correct.
That's
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is our actual zoning ordinance that talks about,
Okay.
the zone districts and what allowable uses and that kind of thing. It's the 100-page document. The animal control is totally separate from that. And actually, I'd originally put a little bit of language in the zoning ordinance about animal control, and I let you all know we took that out because I feel like it's better if it's.
I just didn't want any ambiguity about.
Right. So what we're talking about now is the full zoning ordinance. The Planning Commission formed an update committee last summer, and the update committee has worked on going through that document and our comprehensive plan and all. This is just kind of an extension of what we've gone through before with the comprehensive plan. So what I had sent you all, there's a summary that I included with that, and then by section, it goes through and explains what the changes were. Some were a little more detailed than the others, because a few of the things were, I fixed some, like, either grammatical or language type stuff that made things a little bit clearer. Those things I just kind of generalized and said we did this, but some of them I was a little more specific about what the actual changes were to kind of help you all see what the difference is from what we had and what we're going to. The biggest change, the most recent change, and I'm trying to think I can't remember if I actually let you all know this. I think I did. We made a late change regarding manufactured homes. We went to a training put on by KLC, and in that training I asked the question about manufactured homes. We currently require in mobile home parks, so there's a city ordinance that regulates manufactured homes on standalone lots. We're not talking about that. That is still in place. It's still valid. But for mobile homes, manufactured homes in a mobile home park, we've updated the ordinance because previously, or actually currently, we require a conditional use permit, which involves a hearing before the Board of Adjustment. It's a $200 application fee. And not to be disparaging in any way at all, but typically the people that are moving into the mobile home parks, it's lower income, and we're imposing this $200 application fee on somebody to apply to put a mobile home in a mobile home park. So at the training, I asked the presenter, who is somebody that's in my position in Mercer County, and he's got a lot more experience. I said, hey, I've got a question about this. We're requiring a conditional use permit for mobile homes in mobile home park. And he said, let me stop you. You need to change your regulations. So we looked into it, and how it'll be now, based on what I'm proposing in the update, is that if it's an approved mobile home park, and we really just have two, it's the Hearn Trailer Park in Van Village. If they have an approved conditional use permit for the park, then the mobile homes would be considered accessory to that use. And so they don't have to go through additional approval other than just a $25 permit, which is basically like if you're putting a shed up or something. So I think that's it. For one, it's going to speed up the process for people trying to place a home in one of the parks, because now they're having to wait 2-3 weeks, maybe a month for the hearing. That they're imposing, it's a conditional use permit, and they're imposing the conditions that are listed in the ordinance. So it's nothing. There's no reason to go through all of that for each mobile home we place. We have a way to regulate everything outside of that. So that's kind of the big change, kind of late, that's come. That I can't remember if I let you all know about that or not. If I didn't, I apologize, but that's, yeah. But otherwise, everything else is listed in that summary. We've updated a lot of things. Just, there's uses that didn't occur in the 90s. Now we have short-term rentals. So I've kind of taken our short-term rental ordinance and rolled it into the zoning ordinance. Everything that applied in that will still apply. I've just put it in its appropriate place in the zoning ordinance. I've tried to consolidate things so they make a little, like when you're reviewing a permit or reviewing a development plan or something like that, everything's a little bit more consolidated within the ordinance. I've added chapters, alternate energy standards, so like wind and like basically residential wind and solar. We don't have anything that addresses that. Well, this will provide that. So if we've had a few permits, and I'm just doing them as a straight zoning permit, but there's no regulations to that. If somebody wanted to put a ground-mounted solar array, we don't have anything that addresses that. So this will give us, what the setbacks would be and the height requirements and all that. I'm trying to think what the others. So I won't go like line by line through it, but if you all have any questions about that, basically what we're asking for, the Planning Commission has recommended approval to the City Council. So it's like any other ordinance, it would be a first and second reading. And so if you all are comfortable with that, doing a first reading tonight, then that's kind of what we're looking for with the zoning ordinance.
We'll have a motion for accept the first reading of this is updated zoning ordinance.
Yes,
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
The 2024 updated zoning ordinance, a motion for first reading. Okay, we got a motion, second. All right, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? All right, motion carried.
And then also, I mean, if you don't have any input, anything in it that you're concerned about, or things that we didn't include that we might want to include, and we can always do future updates to it. I really hope this document doesn't just sit for another 30 years without being updated again. I hope we keep looking at it, making sure it's relevant and everything's working.
We did too.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, the next one, I don't know if it's just hiring building service, but more of a proposal for a joint local building inspection program,
Yeah,
plus a future building inspector, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Take us to that.
at the May Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission is recommending to City Council to hire a building inspector. And the way we're kind of looking at that is it would be a contract position. It wouldn't be a full-time person with benefits. The way our fees are structured now, it possibly will cover the cost of the inspector with the permit fees we have at this time. I need to look at that a little bit more detailed to make sure the math adds up. I had talked to somebody at the Kentucky Department of Building, Housing, and Construction about this. They're the ones that certify the instructors They're certified at the state level. They're a level 1, level 2, or level 3. And the higher level they are, the more types of structures they can inspect. So like a level 3 can basically inspect any residential, commercial, industrial with some limitations. And then, like any state building, the state reserves the right to inspect those, which I think possibly involves schools. I'm pretty sure it's at schools, but any other state building.
Anything else on that?
Well, so I had somebody contact me
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
had
ask
talked
you.
to somebody at the state. He had worked for the state, and he's starting his own consulting business to provide building inspection services. So he had contacted me and actually provided a fee schedule, and basically he's, like trying to find communities that don't have building inspection that would like to have building inspection. So it was kind of fortuitous that he got in touch with me. So he has provided that, and I think I included that in what I emailed to you this past week. And that's what I need to look at and see, like what he would need to be able to do the services. Will our current permit fees cover that, or do we need to amend our fees? I think the way we can do this is basically all of his expenses would be covered through the permit and inspection fees. That's typically how that works. So, and then the way that would work, I talked to him today. They would pay the fees to the city, and then we would pay him for his services out of the fees. So there would be accountability. It wouldn't be the situation like it used to be years ago, where the inspector goes out and he charges this guy $400 and this guy $200, and it would be centralized through our existing permit system, and then he would be paid out of that.
He would not be an employee of the city.
It would be a contract position.
independent contractor.
Yeah, my concern,
Yeah. Would you bid it out?
I would think we would bid it out
To get the best.
because.
Well, I mean, we
because
could-
it's-
yeah,
we could, but they have to meet certain qualifications to be.
I understand that.
But as long as they can meet the qualifications, then yeah, we could.
Yeah.
what's the difference in, like when you get electric put in, your electrician gets the permit, and the outside inspector comes to do it, and the owner assumes the responsibility, financial responsibility.
Right.
Why is that different with this, with the building inspector? Why are we in the middle? I don't understand why we're in the middle of it.
Put my 2 cents in now, would that be appropriate?
Well, let me answer his question. So, with the building inspection, the way that the
Because we never had one before.
right, we've never had one before.
I'm just curious what happened before.
To have a building inspection program, the first thing the city would need to do is adopt the Kentucky Building Code. And so then that would be what governs the inspector's inspections.
Is it required by law that we do that?
Yes. So
It's not an option.
No, by ordinance, we would adopt the Kentucky Building Code, and then he would follow that building code. It's like the International Building Code. It's pretty typical anywhere you go where there's building inspection that they're going to follow either some iteration of the International Building Code, which Kentucky's building code is a derivative of that. And so what the building inspector is inspecting is basically structural integrity. So, your studs are on whatever center they're supposed to be on, handrails, safety issues, and they're looking at things like the types of materials used, the structural soundness, basically. But they would also coordinate with the electrical and the plumbing inspectors as far as like when they do the inspections. They do inspections on the footing and foundation of the structure, the roof of the structure.
No, and I appreciate the clarification on that. So when you say that they will work with the electricians and the other, why wouldn't the electricians fall under that same process as the building inspector? Why wouldn't we go through the same process with the electricians and the rest of them on inspecting new builds in the city?
I don't know if I understand exactly.
Okay, you're saying that we have to have a building inspector
Well, we don't.
through the city, I'm saying.
Right. We're
But we don't have to have an electric inspector.
well, we do. We do have electrical and plumbing. We have local inspectors.
But not through the city.
They don't work through the city.
Right, that's what I'm asking. My question, I know it sounds.
Well, the
why-
electric company won't turn your electric on.
Right.
That's
So-
the thing. You
so-
can build a house
It's
and
required,
Currently,
yeah.
currently for commercial and industrial inspections, the state does that for us because we don't have a local.
And that's my question is why wouldn't the rest of the inspectors fall under the same umbrella of what you're saying that's required for the city? Why wouldn't it all just be under the same canopy and building inspectors, electrical inspectors, all those people just, be contractors for the city. And we don't do
Well, so I don't know exactly how the electrical and plumbing work, like exactly how they're authorized to do what they do.
that. Yeah, I'm just asking why is there separation versus just,
My husband was a plumber,
same
and,
thing with plumbers, exactly.
okay, and he did, you know, a lot of plumbing on houses, whatever. And that runs through the state. He gets his permit through the
So
state.
the electric and the plumbing runs through the state,
Yes.
but doesn't building inspectors run through the state as well?
Well,
Not necessarily.
currently, any inspections that happen in the city or the county for that matter for commercial industrial, the state does that. The state collects the permit fees, the state has all the oversight over that. If we create our own local building inspection program, the state would then defer to us if we have the inspector that's qualified to inspect all of that. We would get the permit fees, we would have the oversight locally. It would be a local inspector versus a state inspector.
Yeah, and I'm asking the question, I'm not trying to be argumentative, what
Right,
I'm trying to do is for clarification purposes, for liability within the city. If we're required, like you say, to have this building inspector and whatever those codes come with it, that's why I'm asking if the others, the plumbers, the electricians, are we responsible for that as well?
I don't
Or can we
know.
check on
No,
that?
it's state,
Has to be the state.
Yeah, I
think it's state.
I think those just, they're just.
Yeah,
Seem
you
like
have a
so.
comment?
Yeah, most of those guys are master plumbers or master electricians.
Yes.
They're certified.
Licensed through the state.
It's a different
They have
certification.
insurance.
Yes, my husband was a master plumber. Mango.
And they always have their liability insurance anyway.
Yes, they have their own,
Yeah.
yes.
Has
They
to go
have
past
their own
every
insurance,
year
their own
to-
liability, yes.
Okay, so what you're talking about doesn't involve anybody other than just the
No.
building inspector?
No.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
state.
Right. Now, like I said, I think we can coordinate with them and what I would like to see is that we get them to start once we have the building inspection program, that they would notify us when they've done their inspections and we can update that in the system and say, yes, this permit has had an electrical inspection, it has had a plumbing inspection.
Okay.
That's probably gonna be more voluntary on their part, but I think if we can build that relationship, that'll happen. That benefits our homeowners, future buyers. If somebody comes in and says, hey, can I have the permit information for this house that I'm looking at? We can pull it up and say, yeah, it had a permit 2 years ago, and here's all the inspection data and all that. That's really important to some people.
So are people coming down here right now, I know they're doing it for electrical and plumbing, they're coming to get a permit to build a building, whatever. But the building inspector part, are they getting a permit for that as well? And
Not now.
But when we enact this, whatever you're saying we need to do, that will cover that?
Yeah, and the other part of this that I feel is kind of important is we don't have any local say. And so if there's a zoning issue with a property where maybe somebody's wanting to put a use that's not allowed in that zone district, if it's a commercial use and they go to the state will just issue the permit and they can build the structure, and we don't have any ability, and I've talked to them about this at the state, and they don't have the will or the ability, or not the ability, but they don't have the will to let us say, no, they can't move forward on their permit until they correct this other problem. We've got a couple that are going to be in that situation. And so they would go ahead and issue a permit, and the person would think they're okay. Hey, I've got my permits, and you're telling me I can't do this. And it's like, well, but at the local level, if they came into planning and zoning to get a building permit, and there was a zoning issue, we could say, hey, you have to fix the zoning issue before we can do the building permit. So that gives us a little bit more local oversight, local revenue. I mean, we would get more of the.
Well, I didn't mean to cause confusion.
No.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I really didn't know, and I thought everybody else would want to be on the same page as well, because I didn't understand the state versus the city. And
Yeah, I'm still a little fuzzy on the electrical.
No, listen, I appreciate all the work you've done on that.
What about the whole thing with the county?
Okay, so that's the second.
So, you're asking us to approve the hire of a independent contractor, building inspector?
Is that going to be bid out?
I think
But
We could
I think that needs to be bid.
Well,
out.
but we have to approve
Approve
the, or you.
And start the
okay.
process.
Start the process.
I mean, is that something that we need? I mean,
I have an argument.
if we went through the state to do this the whole time, why are we trying to create?
Well, the
a
state doesn't control the building itself. If somebody come in and do shoddy work and nobody's inspecting it, and a balcony fall and a bunch of people get killed because it wasn't done correctly.
The state right now, they have not. They do not do any residential inspections locally. They only do commercial and industrial and institutional like this building is.
Well, and with so many, like I say, you know, Airbnbs and all this going up, you wanna make sure that people are, like I say, are safe.
Right, so we don't have any residential building inspection in the county period at all. And the state will not do that for us. That's on us to do that if we want to hire somebody. They will continue to do the commercial industrial whether we do or not. So I'm going to let Ruth tell her story real quick about why, and this is one story, and I'm sure we've all heard many.
Okay, after my husband passed away, I stayed on the farm for 2 years to decide what I was gonna do. I decided I needed to downsize. I couldn't take care of all of that by myself. I sold my place when everything was going crazy with home sales. My place sold in 2 days. The place that I had picked fell through. So I had to find another place in a hurry I picked the place down here at 38 Court Street. I hired a state building inspector to come in and inspect the house. I saw a few things wrong with that. I said, all right, that's okay, I can handle this. And I went ahead, bought the place, paid cash for it, and then I moved in. I found last summer, at the hottest time of the year, my place is 836 square feet. I am downsizing. I don't want all that stuff to take care of. My friend has a home that is 1,300 square feet. We both have gas, we both have electric. My heating electric bill was $154, while hers was $74. Guess what? I don't have any insulation. The people that remodeled my place didn't put in any insulation. In this day and age, nobody can have that. Another thing, in fact, I came down and was talking to the mayor about some of the issues I had with my place. I got back home, that's where I met Chris. That's how I ended up on the BOA, and thank you everybody, because I want to help. Got home from that meeting, walked in, my bathroom door was at a funny angle. What in the world is going on? Well, guess what, folks? My door was open and it was down on the floor. They hadn't even nailed the door in. Then, another thing, let me give you, this is a third item. I love my flooring. I love the color. It's the new flooring that slides real easy. I can move anything I want to in my house anywhere I want to. You know, so all that's good. I checked out the materials and see what kind of warranty on them. The least I found was a 20-year warranty. I have no idea what quality they put in. But there's one problem with that warranty, that if that flooring is not installed properly, it cracks and breaks, and that's exactly what's happening to all of my flooring. You cannot replace a section of it. You have to take the whole thing up and you have to start all over again. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. Nobody deserves this. That's why we have to have home inspections and remodel inspections. Not just new homes, remodels also. This cannot happen to anybody else. Is you passing this, is it gonna help me per se? No. My problems are already there, but that's why I've been working for 2 years with Chris and others to understand this is going on in this community and it needs to stop now. Any questions from anyone?
Well, you got these people that just come in and they
The people that I dealt with are long-time people.
they just have
Do you have a
them
contract?
together.
Huh?
Do you have a contract with them? A written contract?
I bought the house and paid cash for it. It was
She
already
had the
done.
work done.
I did not have the work done, it was already remodeled.
Building inspection, it won't totally prevent that from happening, but it helps. it helps protect people from unscrupulous and unskilled contractors because they do have to build to a minimum standard. The building code's a
So
minimum
what does this
standard.
building inspector do when they're not, when we don't need them?
Well, okay, so the guy that I talked to, he's gonna provide services to, different jurisdictions. It wouldn't just be us. So he would have enough business to help him.
So we only pay when we need
We
it.
only pay when we need it. If we don't have permits, he wouldn't go.
But Chris,
Yeah.
what did you talk to Eddie about
We're
a
getting
joint?
there, we're
Okay.
getting
There.
Wait, let's have the whole story,
The
not just part of it.
building inspection helps maintain and increase property values. You're having a better quality home if it's built to a certain standard. That's just kind of understood. I mean, that's why you have building inspection. It's a health, safety, and welfare thing. The structures are structurally sound. They're fire prevention things that are built into new homes. That's insured because they have to meet the code. So to get the lens point, we need it in the city. We need a local building inspection program. The county needs it more than we need it. So what I'm proposing, I went to fiscal court on Tuesday and proposed to them, was that we form a joint local building inspection program. The county would have to adopt the ordinance, the city would have to adopt the ordinance, but then it would be centralized with Stanton Planning and Zoning, so that the permits would all come through one place, and it would reduce some of the confusion. We'd have a single inspector that would work for the whole county, basically. That way, I feel like we could help share cost, like admin cost, the county's not going to be out trying to do their own thing and start it all from scratch. We have a lot of this in place, the processes, the fees, all that, and it would be much easier to partner with that. All that aside, we can do it on our own, they can do it on their own, we don't have to do it together. What Planning Commission had recommended was the hiring of a building inspector for the city, so that's kind of the main thing. We can get it going and then later on partner with the county if they choose to do that. But fiscal court seemed very receptive to the idea. They have a great need for it with all of the development that's going on. And I really feel like within 5 years, we're going to have more development than we've got now. I think things are going to really start to change with all of the things that are going on to the east.
Were they open and receptive to that?
Very much so.
Michael really liked the idea. My husband,
If anybody needs it, those people building those cabins.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, another prospect too that needs to be thought about is what if a subdivision is built in the county or in the
city.
Or in the city. You have to have certain qualities adhered to so that you end up with a product that the city isn't paying for because of sub-quality work.
We do have some properties in the city that could very well be developed into 20, 30 lot subdivisions. And we don't know when that's going to happen. It could be tomorrow, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, but more than likely, in a shorter period of time, we're going to see that kind of development happen. And when it does, we need to have this in place to be able to properly ensure that these structures are built to a standard and all that. And I'm trying to work on making sure that our subdivision process is in place so that if somebody comes in and does that, our streets are going to be built to the right standard. We're not going to have issues like we did in Homestead with street dedication and things like that. All of that works together, but it makes our community better for a lot of reasons.
Thank you, Chris.
Anyway.
What's the pleasure of
Well,
city
I'm sold
council?
on it, I'm sold on it now.
The need is really there.
Okay,
This
yeah.
gentleman.
I also
I'm sorry.
got screwed back in February.
Thank you.
$3,500. But I disagree with this. There's a lot of people that are living in Amish homes right now. Those are spaced at 2 foot on center. Code is 16 inches on center. So you're gonna put a lot of poor people out on the streets because they can't afford an
Well-
inspector. My advice, I've worked in construction for a little while, is require your contractors some kind of certification or something with the city that they're licensed, and they have to come and apply for a permit to do that work. And then you can help the homeowner and not cost the city or the people. Because if you start bringing in more rules, if you ever watch TikTok Home Association, videos, is what I'm talking about. It's just doing, it's gonna cost us all.
But the building inspector is for new construction, not existing construction.
Well, it
Heard
would
from
be.
Mine is, if it's a remodel, mine is a
That's a
remodel.
lot of what you guys are thinking you're asking for.
No, well, I
Okay.
mean, I just, you brought up the point of an Amish home. I mean, we wouldn't be
What
kicking
about
people out of
developers?
there.
You got people coming here, and I'm getting ready to build 5 of those. I'm not gonna build one fast, go through a building inspector and all that kind of stuff. It's extra cost you're putting on.
But this is a minimum standard. We're not talking like high standard. We're talking the minimum standard that is understood around the world that structures should be built to for the safety of the
Would a
residents.
building inspector oversee all these independent contractors?
He would do, no.
He just come in.
Just-
And you know what, I appreciate what you're saying, I don't know your name.
You're just gonna have, my name's Avery Roberts. You're
Avery
gonna run
Roberts?
into a lot of engineers and architects.
No, I appreciate you saying, because it seems like there's a gap there, they're great ideas, both of them. There's a gap there between those two, Chris, that probably need to be filled. And I'm not advocating that we try to make a bunch of money on independent contractors, but to have a standard, you know, we're talking about standards, just a standard. That's not a bad idea.
We
To
could
visit that.
We could require the contractors to be licensed by the city, and there's a process for that.
Yeah.
But that, in absence of building inspection, doesn't solve the problem.
Because they would
They're
be
going to
self.
pass the cost on to you one way or the
They
other.
could get another license, then there's still
It
no
doesn't
oversight.
matter,
How
it's
they-
still gonna be keeping, somebody's gonna pay.
Once the drywall's up, nobody knows what's underneath.
And that's exactly what happened in my place. And-
Somebody's gonna
and-
pay.
And
That's
understanding.
why I like his point, because what you're saying with your issue is specifically, if you had, let's say you were there and you had a remodel done on your house, but you had no means of protection from the contractor other than just sue them civilly for doing poor work. But if we had something in place in the
Revoke his
city
license.
where we could actually help you in seeking some kind of relief. you know.
And then you're putting the back on the owner or whoever's having it built that may or may not have construction experience to look and see what their contractor is or is not doing. We need a professional that is gonna come in and make sure the work that is being done properly, and it is being done to a correct standard. And leaving it all there, right now, the way Chris and we have talked about it, is that it's going to be less cost to the city anyway, but it's going to hold contractors, whoever's doing the work,
Developers, yeah.
anybody, developers responsible for their work. And that's something the city, if we want to have any kind of standards, any kind of proper growth in the future, we have to have controls out there.
And I'm trying to, this is me personally, my position is always try to be neutral and hear both sides. So I'm hearing this, but he's got a great point over here, because there's a lot of independent contractors in this city, in this county, that are building, and there's no way to manage that. Your building inspector is gonna be after the fact. Well, I'm trying to figure
So
they're gonna be there during the-
when they're building a home,
So
they
you
get to
got
a certain
20
point, the
homes that
inspector
you're
has to
gonna
come
build. You're
in
gonna have a
before they can
building
move
inspector
forward.
Checking all 20 at the same time.
At different stages. So they
Yes.
pour the footer, he inspects and makes sure that's done right. They do the foundation, make sure that's right.
Okay.
They do the
Make
framing
sure there's-
before they close the
Yep.
walls, he inspects.
Yes.
Most cities have an inspector to make sure these things are done right. So what they'll do,
Everybody
if they
does.
come in, they
Yes.
pour the footer, it's not done right, they red tag it, they can't do any more work until that is fixed.
Okay.
Yep.
So each part of the process, they'll look at it, and they'll say, good, you're good to go, you can move forward, or they're gonna red tag them and say, you can't move forward until this is fixed. What they're trying to do is make sure they're using the right materials. They're not putting 1x4s or 2x4s are supposed to be. Not cutting costs because they're trying to make a little extra
And I
money.
understand.
Contractors do that.
My concern is, should we hold independent contractors accountable up front instead of when a building inspector comes in and says, wait a minute, you're gonna have to tear all that out and do that again because that's not
I
right.
don't think instead of, but in conjunction with. I was trying to make it ease into it a little bit. I think we do need a licensing process for contractors at some point, but I think we can start with the building inspection work to that.
So you don't think a negative, and I'm just asking out loud, you don't think a negative impact would be that independent contractors would decide not to build in the city of Stanton because of all that?
Real quick.
Some
We
Is that not gonna be a
We
reality?
can't get nobody to do nothing here no way, not now.
Let me tell you this, the first person that
So
brought
you
this
go
up
out
to
to
me,
Harlem, Lexington, or Louisville or somewhere, and it cost you 10 times what it ordered.
the first person that brought this up to me was building 2 houses in the city. He said, we need local building inspection. I've had a lot of people talk to me and say, we need this, and they're contractors. I had a guy call, and he was actually asking about a property on Nada Tunnel Road. And it's a Stanton address. So he had called and he said, hey, I need to know about permits. And I said, well, you're actually in the county, you don't need permits. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, the county doesn't have planning and zoning. And he's like, what? And he said, well, what about building inspection? And I said, the county doesn't have building inspection either. And he's like, you need to have building
I'm
inspection.
100% on board for the building inspection.
Right. But
I just feel like we're missing a piece.
the industry people see the importance, and this is kind of unrelated, but it translates. When I got a permit to be a guided rock climbing instructor years ago, I had a permit through the Forest Service. There were other people doing that did not, and I did not like that because they weren't held to the same standard. I had to have insurance. I was only allowed to do certain things in certain places, and they were going around Wild West doing whatever they wanted, and that gave my business a bad name when things came out about them because people, hey, I'm the one that's permitted. So I kind of see that in the same. If you're a contractor working in the city and you're doing good work, but there's a guy down the road that's doing shoddy work, I wouldn't like that either if I were a contractor. I would want everybody to be building to that minimum standard. I wouldn't want to be the guy that had to come in and fix the problem.
What about the remodeling?
Exactly, that needs to be included.
Yes.
It has to be included.
Willie, you all appoint who you have as your electrical inspector in the city limits of Stanton, right? That's an appointment of you all. Larry Rice from Montgomery County. Yes, Larry inspects the city of.
The gentleman across the road, David. Yeah.
See, the county uses Bill Perry out of Winchester. Bill can inspect in the county and in Clay City. Larry Rice has to deal with you all, your all's appointment to allow him to come in the city of Stanton, be the inspector. He charges the person having the work or the electrician done. He has a state form that he fills. I work for the electric company. That form he fills out, there's 2 phases on a new build. They have the rough in and then the final inspection when he comes back. So as far as your all's electrical inspector, it passes. Now the homeowner can do their work. Still, he comes out and inspects it. At that point, he approves for the electric company to hook that service back up.
And that would be integrated with the building inspection program. They would all work together to make sure that everything happened in the typical order that you would do that.
Well, I'm just glad I clarified.
Yes.
The one thing, like Avery said, I like that. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah, no,
I
I
like
do too.
both.
I do too.
But I'm saying, because if you got a shoddy contractor out here that keeps a building, we
Yeah,
don't
but
want to
if
build.
you have inspection, he's gonna get caught.
Right, it don't matter, we can't stop him if we don't have.
But then the
one.
homeowners will have to file and do whatever.
Well,
I don't think anybody.
I don't think it's gonna be on
Homeowner.
I'm just saying, should we entertain discussions on a little bit further, Chris, about addressing that independent contractor issues up front?
I think there are a couple issues. Again, we
Big
need
dollar.
to determine whether we're going to work with the county.
They have to harm from somewhere else.
Right.
Right, but I think the first step would be deciding for sure to pursue the program
I like
separate of the county, and then we can
Yeah, I think
entertain
that's
like
a good
the
idea.
partnership
I think
too.
it's a fantastic idea.
Okay, do I have a motion in from anyone?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, what's the motion?
To work with what is it, what are you calling it?
Local building inspection program to hire building inspectors. So
In coordination or with the county?
well,
If
if that's the
they
pleasure
want
of
to.
the city council,
Yeah, we're just doing it for us right now.
well, we can do both.
We can do both.
It's whatever you all think. If you all are for it,
And the county may not
Well, she
be.
just needs clarification
Right.
right now.
What-
I think we want to post that. I mean, I'm not against this guy. This guy's called in and
Right.
wanting work. If he comes out here and he ain't worth the time.
Right.
If we're, I'm saying, this guy's saying, I don't have work.
My motion wouldn't be to hire him, my motion would be to approve us.
Yeah.
Right,
But
to hire him.
we have to post it and do whatever.
Moving ahead with
Yeah,
it,
go through the
basically, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, a second on that?
What was it?
What
To
I'm,
move
what
forward
I'm,
to post and then
Well-
for that.
Well, to form a
receipt.
building inspection.
We have to have a job description first. and
Then
we'll
we can post. So what we need first is the description.
well, before we hire him, we have to adopt the code. So what I would say is make the motion to,
Adopt the building code.
to begin a building inspection a local building inspection program. And then the process is, we need to adopt the ordinance. And I've got a model ordinance. I think I sent it to all of you all.
To
So we'd have-
partner with the county.
Well, we can discuss that if you want to include that in the motion, but to do, if we do the program, then that would be adopt the ordinance, hire the inspector.
So we have to adopt an ordinance first.
We're not adopting, we're
No,
just saying.
no,
go
no,
ahead
no.
and
Start the
do
program.
ordinance.
I think we're just saying, go ahead and move ahead.
Move forward.
So, do you have a second on that? Huh? All in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay.
And we can, the fiscal court tabled it till next month, they're gonna look into it and try to figure out all the
We're a little
details.
bit ahead of
So,
this.
right, it's a juggling match at this point, trying to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Clay City.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go Monday to the Clay City Council and just present it to them and ask if they're interested in being part of the program.
Okay.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, next item is the Board of Adjustment. Board of Adjustment, member replacement. Chris, this is Tom DeFilippo, is that correct? He resigned.
Tom DeFilippo wants to resign. He is on the airport board. He's a newly appointed to the airport board. So he's wanting to step down from the Board of Adjustment, so we need a replacement for Tom.
Okay, and that is Sonia Cole, correct? Anybody know, can you tell us a little bit about Sonia?
Sonia is, she lives on Halls Road, at the corner of Halls Road and Railroad. She's an early childhood education specialist. She's my cousin, but I don't know her that well. I will say, well, we had a conversation. She was the first person that I sent a notice to about chickens. She was the first person I sent a notice to about chickens, and I didn't realize she was my cousin. And so they got rid of their chickens. They got rid of their chickens, and we had this whole conversation, and she's like, I would like to get involved and do more. So when this opportunity came up, I said, would you be willing to be on Board of Adjustment?
Okay.
So,
All right, I have a motion for, to put Sonia Cole as a Board of Adjustment member. All right, we got a second on that? All right, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Our motion passed.
Who's those your cousin?
well, I mean, we're probably related to a few of you all too, so you're. I think I'm
We do have a zone change, number 9, 230 Maple Street from R1 to R2. Chris?
This is, if you all are familiar, the lot here on the corner of Breckenridge and Maple Street, there was a house a few years ago that burned down. And it's been vacant, and Jacob Brandenburg purchased the property. At the time, he thought it was 20,000 square feet, and so he went through a minor plat to subdivide it into 2 lots so he could build 2 houses. You have to have 10,000 square feet as a minimum in R1. When he actually had it surveyed and platted, 1 lot was 10,000 and 1 was just under, so he can't meet the minimum lot size for R1, so he's requesting the zone change to R2 because the minimum lot size is smaller. So this will just, it won't really even change what he was going to build on the property, it just legalizes that for the zoning.
I have a motion for zone change on 230 Maple Street from R1 to R2. All right, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? Motion carried. We'll just keep you up there, Chris.
Know your name.
All right, the animal control ordinance. Mr. Chase.
All I'm going to say about this, the only thing I changed from the last time we discussed it, I did add a little bit of language. If you should choose to make the amendment, the only thing I've changed from what we looked at
Yeah,
before
what
was,
was the change?
I added some, there would have to be like a minimum square footage for each animal. So if you had, I think it's, I can't remember off the top of my head, I want to say it's 15 square feet of open space per bird and no less than 4 square feet of coop space per bird. There was something that came up in the discussion about how many in a certain area and all that, and that's kind of a standard size space requirement.
So we're back to letting chickens be in town?
No, that's up to them. I simply provided language for discussion.
I will say, I don't know, I wasn't here last, but we have,
Yeah, you wouldn't hear last.
no, and we have, how many people's came in here and asked for, I don't know why it's coming up again, I'm just being honest.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why it's coming up, Tommy. Is you have the extension office that does the 4-H, yeah. And then you have families that are trying to supplement income by having farm fresh eggs. Some people prefer those. I'm kind of on the fence about both. When we discussed it in the BOA meeting, I was like, chickens to me are, they're good fried. But I understand why people. We live in a rural community, so I understand why people want their chickens, and I understand it. So I was kind of with Chris and the rest of the BOA team. We kind of approved that.
Okay,
Well, the thing
go ahead.
is, you have to, I haven't talked to a lot of people, but everybody that I've talked to is not in favor of having chickens next to them. I think we don't have enough input from enough citizens to, you can't say, well, we've got 10 families that want chickens and we've got 2,000 that don't. So we have to think about the.
Well, one of the things included is they have to keep them cooped. They can't be free range. They can't just wander the yard. They have
But
to.
that's again, the thing is the responsibility of them, whether they'll follow the rules, keeping them clean and keeping them,
Well, just like any ordinance, not everybody follows the rules, right? So you have to, that's where people get involved and be like, let Chris know, and then they get a nuisance violation, and then they have to pay a fine. But it's just like any ordinance. You're going to have people that are not going to follow the rules.
I've had people come to me for speed bumps, for signs, for sewer, for a plethora of things. But I have not had one person come to me and ask me to try to get the chickens to stay in Stanton. Not one person.
I've had two.
I would not live beside somebody that had chickens. If I were gonna buy a house, I would not buy a house with chickens. And they're nasty. I absolutely do not want to live by somebody that's got chickens.
I think people are thinking of chickens being like the chicken coops you had on the farm and chickens running all over the place. That's not what that's not what these people were proposing.
Well, maybe not every one of them, but they are that way, some houses.
And what happens is that we have, I know that the council supports kids. If anything that you all do well, and that is supporting kids. So these kids that came here, there was a couple here that were going to speak for it, and they left. And I'm sorry they did. But these kids.
To her, they are.
That's okay. That is knowledge comes with that age. But anyway, there's a lot of kids that are in 4-H projects, and all they can afford to do for some of their projects, it's not cattle, it's not pigs, it's chickens. And the way this is set up, it has to have the right amount of space, it has to keep them clean, it has to, anybody that was on a farm, I was raised on a farm, you put lime down, lime takes care of the smell, you gotta keep them clean, but a lot of people like that kind of fertilizer. So if we're going to support kids, we have to support them with everything.
Thank you. Can I say something real quick?
About 5 years, it would have been 2019, we had an issue up at the motel at Abner's. That's when I was working there, now I work at Natural Bridge. The neighbor behind the motel had some chickens, and we had a motorcycle weekend. They was coming into the drag strip, Go Wings, going to the AMVETS. They were up there at the motel. The house cleaning lady came into the office. I was working. She said, "We've got a problem out here." So I go out. I'm just gonna be. There was a rooster and 3 or 4 hens. They was crap all over the motorcycles. And I'm just saying, they was crap. I mean, they was chicken poop on the motorcycles. Think about this. These are folks that spend a lot of money on those bikes. So what the situation was, they came in and complained to us. We called the owner. We have to try to get them removed. It took us about 3 weeks to catch those chickens, to get those caught. There's a long story that goes with this. But what had happened was, the rooster was crowing. So what happened, the people were coming out of the rooms. Here I'm sitting, and I'm, like I said, I'm not taking either side, but I was sitting in the office. The people would come out at 6:30 in the morning and say, "Can you please do something about this? We can't sleep." And you know what time checkout was? At 11 a.m. Imagine from 6:30 in the morning to 11 a.m., people coming out from Ohio, Indiana, other states, Michigan. You know what their saying was? "I don't even want to come back here and stay no more." It wasn't what it was. It was 4 or 5 chickens, but they had crapped all over the sidewalks. The housekeepers, they had to clean it up. I had to get a water hose out. I didn't enjoy cleaning it up. It was a mess.
That's just it, you
Yeah,
know.
they didn't have them cooped up.
They were not cooped up, and this states that we will not have roosters. Roosters are the only ones that crow, so you delete the roosters out of the mix and you're not gonna have the crowing.
And chickens.
And you've gotta keep them, you've got to keep them,
It doesn't matter if you're confined, I raise chickens. Hey,
Yeah, that's right.
yes.
well, you know what, I've raised them too.
I
First off, I'd like to say,
Thank you.
Chris, first off, thanks for
Yeah.
doing the work on that for us.
Yeah.
We agreed the last meeting that we were gonna do that, and I appreciate you doing that.
Appreciate that.
Ruth, thank you for the children speech. We all love the kids.
Yes, you do.
It's all about the kids, you're right.
That's something you all do.
But it's all about the kids in the entire city.
That's
So we have to
right.
look at that. So an observation is that, and I don't know why they got up and left, but everybody that was in here speaking for that last time is not in this room. There's no one here speaking for that other than you. And my concern, and we've all talked about it, my concern is we base decisions, we try to be fair to everybody and listen to both sides, but we also try to base it on the majority of the citizens in this town. And like Rhonda said, I've had everybody come to me for everything but chickens or agriculture or anything else. That usually pertains to agricultural zone property and things of that. And this ordinance has been in place for way before we were here. And it's never been addressed before. I've never heard it before till lately. But we have to base decisions for most of the people in this town, and not just a select group of people or a few people. And that's all we've got. We appreciate, and I appreciate their concern and their issues, and that they would take care of them and do all that. But I also have to be concerned about the environmental impact, the real estate impact, all those other things that all the other people in this town, I think, are concerned with because they haven't came to advocate for the chickens. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Listen, the reason why I am speaking up is because they left.
Yeah, I was
And,
hoping
and
you'd say
you know
so.
what? All the kids need to have representation, and if it takes me to do it, by golly, here I am. So,
But
you know,
and
let's
Ruth, to
just
clarify
say.
that, we listened
We
to
knew,
them.
we knew,
Yes.
we knew the last meeting. Thank you.
Yeah.
They did.
Hey, do I have
And Jason from the extension office, he spoke
He
and
spoke in favor
he
of
came
it.
and met with me. He looked over the changes that I proposed, and what I will say is our current animal control ordinance says that in agriculturally zoned districts, they would be allowed. The minimum lot size for an agriculturally zoned district is 5 acres. So if there was a 5-acre parcel in the city that would be appropriate for that kind of thing, it could be zoned agricultural, and someone could have
Well,
them.
you got 5
we don't have that many that are currently zoned agricultural that would be available. Like the airport's zoned agricultural, most of it. There's a little bit that's business. That one strip at the park, and then like privately owned properties, there's I think only one.
But they still have to come through you for.
They would still have to come through. Well, not necessarily a permit. It would be a permitted use. They could. It's a use by right in an agricultural zone district.
I mean, even if it's an agricultural, you still have to get a usage.
No, and in Kentucky, agricultural uses are the highest protected uses. We found that out at our training.
So do we have any of those in the city limits?
As far as I know, no, they're not. There is.
Oh, they're in the county.
The
They're
parcel
in the city, but they're.
north of Maple Street, in that bottomland field, like where Aaron Marcy lives, that area back there, that's all zoned agricultural and it's private. Everything else that's zoned agricultural is either the airport, the park, or and state highway garage.
In addition to our dog park, maybe we need a chicken park.
So I say that to say if somebody had a 5-acre parcel and wanted to zone it agricultural to do that, that would be a viable possibility. It's just we don't have very many 5-acre parcels in the city.
Okay. Tommy, what's your pleasure?
I don't think we, I mean, I don't know. You'll have to
Just
get-
stay with the original,
I think you
the
have to
original
get-
ordinance?
You have to ask
Have
for a
to get a
motion.
motion for it.
But I'm just, do I have a motion for to stay with the original ordinance?
We don't need to.
You don't need to do that.
The original.
So we're gonna change
There's
it.
no action.
Just no action.
Oh, no action? Okay. I'm learning.
Can I abstain from that? Because I'm kind of, I mean, I don't
I
really
don't think
know.
it's in
I mean,
It
it's,
is, but-
oh, it is.
Yeah.
We're not taking any action.
No, we're not taking any.
We're not
I
taking
know,
it.
We're not
I'm
taking
just,
any action.
I'm thinking of what Chris said about the agricultural, but.
Okay. All right, thank y'all so much.
I don't know.
We appreciate that. I love the conversation. It's really good. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay. I never thought of the chicken park.
Chicken park.
Okay. Chicken in the park. It almost like, it sounds like the name for a restaurant, Chicken in the Park. All right. Hey, Chris, how about that social media policy?
Do you want me to take that one?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
And I think we've all read through it. I think we're pretty much in agreement, so if you just want to say a few words.
Do you want me to real quick give the quick
Well,
and dirty why it came about? Okay.
Just go with it.
It was brought to our attention last week that there's a need for a social media
yeah,
policy.
I think we're good on that.
But yeah, that's all I'll say on that. And basically, what this does, it does two things. One, it regulates or specifies who should be allowed to create a social media account for the city. So that would include like tourism, park and rec, planning and zoning, any city agency. For that agency to create any social media account, it would have to abide by this policy. And then in that, it would specify. There's a form that you would fill out, and it would state who the authorized people are that can update that. It would be the city clerk's responsibility to keep up with all that. And then the second part of that is it's the social media policy for users on city pages. So if just a regular citizen is going to post something, there's a policy that says this is what's acceptable and this is what's not. And that what's important with that is if somebody posts a comment that's not appropriate, there's a process to delete it. You can't just delete it. You have to document it. You're supposed to have the city attorney look at it, and you have to keep a record of that. This spells that out. It's pretty clear about the process. It's simple. It's not real complicated. But that helps us to be able to better, if it's something that really is harmful or derogatory, not necessarily derogatory because some derogatory things are protected under First Amendment. If it's harassment, if it's violent, vulgar things like that.
Yeah.
If you've got I'm not going to say.
So this is pertains to the city of Stanton site, not Facebook? Because Facebook has its own set of rules.
Well, it does, but this is
It's
for
talking about what goes on there.
city controlled or sponsored official pages what the policy would be about who is able to update it and how you would handle
This
it.
would just kind of mirror kind of Facebook stuff, or whatever other entities are.
The other thing, we had a discussion a while back, for a long time, when Teresa and I, because currently it's you and I, and is there anybody else on the city page? Is it just me and you and Willie? So I'll post planning and zoning updates, and sometimes if I see like stuff from KYTC or something that's applicable to citizens, I'll post it.
Avery, he's talking about like if somebody, they post something on the city law and somebody goes on there and posts derogatory, vulgar things on some post.
So you're gonna have free speech.
Well,
If it's free speech that's vulgar and nasty, and
the First Amendment is still protected. This is very specific. You can't display it because you don't agree with
We
what
already
they
got a ruling
say.
on KLC.
But one thing it does say, and this is backed up, is that if you make a post, say about the park, and somebody gets on and they're complaining about their water bill, it's not related to the post. You can delete it, but you have to document. There's a process for documenting. But what we had decided to do a few months ago, because we were getting a lot of those comments that were totally off the wall, that people that didn't live around here and they were just stirring stuff up, and it was totally irrelevant to what was posted. We had decided to not allow comments. So we make the post and then go in and turn it off so that nobody can comment on the post. If there's no reason to have input on that subject, we don't need to. It's simply we're just notifying the community, hey, this is going on.
We'll just kill social media and notify them through the Patriot.
So I asked the municipal law department at KLC, and they said we can do that. We can disable comments, but we can't let somebody make a comment and then go back and disable it. We have to do it at the beginning. So that's kind of been our just standard policy for a while.
Okay. Thank you so much. I have a motion to accept the social media policy as presented tonight. And second, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. I know I'm cold. I'm starting to move fast.
step outside.
Yeah, exactly. I'm ready to go outside. This is just a quick update. This is on the restaurant tax. We have been in the process of looking at a couple of businesses. At this point, both of them are in the process of being resolved. We are hoping that both of those will be compliant on June the 25th. All right?
Up to date compliant?
Yes, on the 25th. All right, the ABC special event license. This is from one of the business owners currently, and I've talked to Grant Faulkner about this also. This is ABC. Wanted to get his input. Per event, it's $166. What is being at least looked at is to make that an annual event or a license fee with a limit of 6.
Janelle and I were talking, and we kind of recommend $350 a year.
Okay, with a limit of 6.
Yes.
Okay.
But what if they just want one?
Tough too.
Yeah, they can do the one for 166.
Well, no, he wants
Six.
to change it to an annual. So
So we
you
don't-
just if you did one, it's still
If it's an annual,
$350.
it's just, you do the annual.
You want to make it an either or?
I mean, this is for places that
Sell out.
sell out, but which,
ABC.
the only thing that in the city state that we have even would be the trucks that drive.
Well, there's special events. They're going to be out there tomorrow.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that driving is the only place.
Right.
that can have it.
Yeah.
drive, that's the only place up there.
Nothing on city
No,
park.
no.
Yeah.
Just basically.
Is there 6 events in a year that they do?
Not right now.
No, and there will be. I mean,
There'll be 6?
well, the thing about it is you have to look to, like you said, that if you count up the events, actually, I mean, we could be having movies, whatever, maybe, I mean, we can have stuff monthly, it'll add up to 6 pretty quickly. Like drive-in.
Guess I originally it's 166 online.
You
But are
need
you
Tommy?
serving alcohol?
On you.
See, that's just.
Leave it as is.
I don't have a problem.
See, that's just two events.
I don't have a problem with once.
166?
Yeah.
Price, why
I-
166?
I think that's
Just leave it, leave it the same?
that they have to give. I think, I think that 166 covers all the costs.
It does,
So, I
per
mean, we're
event,
not out.
that's per event. So,
I don't see one group paying 6 of these.
well, 166, that's 6, 7, 32, it's $1,000. If you put it as just an annual, let's say 350, then that's all he'll pay.
Yeah. Well, and if it's gonna cost
In other words,
166 each time they do it for the.
It's 166 right now.
You have to get a permit.
Every time.
Yeah, every time, yeah.
Yes, every time you, like, just say, if he comes forward, he has to seek a permit every time, yes.
So there's registration cost.
So it costs
Every time.
$166 every time, so you're gonna have to, you can't give them a
With
deal for
administration,
300.
kind of give them some.
So what's the, I mean, we don't have to have a motion or anything, I don't think.
The thing about it is,
We'll just leave it as it is.
I mean, I don't want to lose money.
no, well, the thing is,
Fees and.
No, you're not gonna lose any, well,
Yeah,
it's a possibility, yeah, I never thought of that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Could be. Okay,
Cause we've got
so,
to,
let's leave it?
Put it
Okay,
in.
great.
we've got to put in for a permit, then we have to
Okay.
do all that.
So leave it, we can't, we're not gonna
Okay.
leave it, we're just gonna leave it.
The review, well, I've got a maintenance worker, Devin Collins. Like to recommend him full-time at $15 contingent. He's passed his drug test, he's passed his background check. I still have not been able to get a hold of his reference. And I talked to him, and I said, look, just have your reference call me. I don't know why they're not answering the phone or whatever, but I need to talk to a reference. And he said he would. I still haven't heard from him, but if we're gonna hire him, I still want to make sure that the reference is
Is it about
good.
general maintenance workers or specific?
Maintenance worker, hours in the city.
Water
Water
sewer,
sewer,
water
yeah.
sewer.
Yeah. So if I get a motion making
Okay,
sure
if
that's
you don't call
contingent.
back the reference, do you have some, a second?
No, I do not. We had one that you guys voted on last month, and he didn't even show up. so.
Well, did you tell him he was gonna direct it?
Has this one been trained in
what?
water?
Did you tell him he was gonna direct it?
No, yeah, I don't know.
Works every time.
I guess.
I make the motion to have contingent on his record.
Yeah, I've got his, yeah.
Second.
Okay, any, all in favor? All right, any opposed? All right, motion carries. Tommy, you have city park hire, is that correct?
Yes,
Part-time?
we have 3 part-time, we have 2 teenagers,
Okay.
Daniel Berry.
2 teenagers for police?
No.
Car.
That got slipped in there.
It's our junior cop program.
We're hiring teenagers.
Junior cop.
Well, we're giving them certificates.
Yeah.
Aiden Berry and Zayden Strange.
Daniel Berry and
Aiden Berry.
Aiden.
Daniel's boy, Zayden Strange. And then David Flatt is helping us with the splash pad.
See that?
We have,
He's a good guy.
Is he only gonna be here till September?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
till September.
He just splash parks to keep.
Is he gonna be an employee or is he gonna be independent contractor?
He's an employee, but
I mean, it's
it's
part-time.
part-time. Yes, then $9 for the first 2. And negotiating with David, it's $18. Of course, there's no benefits, and he might work 1 hour a day, he might work 5 hours. Now, here lately, he's put in 24 max, but he's getting it up to where it's running.
They're all
He knows
part-time
it, don't he?
students.
Yeah, and I spent 40-some hours each week out there.
Yeah, you've been out there a lot, we appreciate that. Yeah, it's,
Well, they was all hustling at the school back.
Yes.
They was, they
So-
really done good.
Do we need to have
So
a
he'll
motion for
be,
each separate one?
yeah, we'll have each separate one, so Labor Day's when it closes down?
Labor Day's when it closes.
Okay, till
So
Labor.
David will be a seasonal, just like.
Seasonal.
You gonna do him first?
But now.
Either one, doesn't matter.
While we're talking about that, Rusty inspected us last week. There's a new certification that we have to have at least one person and it's a certified pool operator. It's about a $1,500 course, 3 days. He let us go this year, but by next year we
Did you
have to
say
have
pool?
cert,
Pool.
SP,
Why?
State law.
state law,
There
and
ain't no pool.
splash.
It's still chemicals.
It's
and-
still chemicals, it's still the same chemicals that treat the water. It's not the standing, it's the chemicals. Which I totally agree with when you mess with acid.
You got a water treatment company that comes and treats your plant?
We got city water.
I've got boilers that I have to have the water company come in, they test it, do that stuff. A lot of times you get around that. You just buy one of those companies.
Oh, really? I have talked to Rusty because he's saying we have to employ a certified pool operator.
Okay, I have okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, just a motion to hire seasonal, these are 3 seasonal, but we'll take each individually. First of all, David Platt, at $18 an hour, got a motion on that?
I'm motioning.
All right, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? All right, David. I'm still not getting the right names on the other.
Aiden Berry.
Okay, Aiden Berry, I have a motion on that.
How you spell his last name?
Barry.
B-A-R-R-Y.
B.A.
Murray.
B-E-R-R-Y.
Berry. okay.
Bird.
Right?
B.A. No, it's B.A., isn't it?
B-A.
It's B.A.
It is B.A. Well, she knows, she said the stuff, B.A. So
Bird.
she's done got all the paperwork.
It's Daniel.
I make a
Is
motion,
Aiden, A-I-D-E-N,
Yeah.
common?
Yeah.
I make a motion for Aiden at $9.
Okay, and
I'll
then
second.
second, all in favor? No, any
It's
opposed? All right.
Daniel's boy.
And then Daniel, what?
David Stream?
No, doesn't
Zaley.
Daily?
Zaley with a Z.
Zaley.
How do you spell it?
Just fake it.
Z-A-L-E-Y.
Make it till you make it.
Daily Stream, okay.
At $9 an hour, I make that motion.
I'll
Okay, the
second
second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
it. There's no common names in it.
Okay. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, the year-to-date, to May year-to-date budget is there, because we'll have to go into closed session here on the police hire. So, anybody look at the budget, any questions? Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, report. I have a motion to accept that, all right, second. Any, all in favor? Any opposed?
Before we go into,
Yeah, you have something.
I have something,
Okay,
at the housing authority, there's an A Street and a B Street.
okay.
What they want to do is take over, and I brought a bigger picture that it's easy to see. This is currently a city street. And this part right here is the city's. It's loop.
You talk about for where you work?
Yes, it's where they turn around, so we wanna put in a parking lot, but we wanna take this 100 and some feet over the maintenance and stuff. I own this, or not I, the state owns this, but we don't own.
City owns this, and,
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we upkeep it anyway,
right.
but this will take the upkeep off of the city, and then it will actually go from here. It's like 108
They
feet.
said the draw train. And that's the second road.
Currently, this is supposed to be a 2-lane road.
Right.
We're parking on the road. You can only
Yeah.
get one car, so to get these vehicles off the roads and get a 2-lane.
You put one additional parking.
Yeah, this will become,
Parking.
yeah, 18 instead of 5. Yeah, that's all I can get.
You're just extending on past time.
Extending them back, but I can't extend because this is city.
So how do we change that legally? Do we need a quick
Ordinance.
claim deed?
I talked,
Ordinance?
yeah, and Scott will draw it up for the next meeting, but I just wanted to show it.
Just an ordinance.
So this is information tonight, or do we need to make?
We don't need to make
Okay.
a motion, but we can do the first reading.
Okay.
Based upon the,
We do that?
and then change the ordinance.
Fill it out, write it down.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the first reading?
Of B Street,
B Street,
the east side of
east side of B Street. Okay,
It's a vacation
Yes.
of city right of way.
okay. Second? All in favor?
I'll abstain on the
Okay.
medical work here.
Any opposed on that? Okay. All right, I have a, motion to go into closed session and a second. Okay, all in favor? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We are going to go into closed session, so we'll need to.
Starting date. Here.
And it's contingent on the contract.
Yes.
But yeah, they need to. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we are back in session.
Okay, again, need a motion to hire Garrett Lawson
I'll make the
as a
motion.
full-time police officer at $18 an hour.
I'll make the
All
motion.
right, second?
A second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Okay, you wanted to just.
While we're on the call.
Yeah, okay.
Our SRO contract runs July to June.
Ooh, I caught up with this.
And last year, we were 6 months getting it. I mean, it was not done until, and it was just agreed upon us both, we would continue to do the same.
So there really are some amendments we need to make to
Yes.
that, okay?
We need to
Do we want
do a
to
special
send that
meeting.
to Scott and let him do that, or do?
I think we I think it's worth a special meeting because there's some
Okay.
bigger changes
Yeah.
coming to that.
All right.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's, we can talk about it now a little, but it has, there's a part where
yeah, we're adding a full-time.
And we're
two full-time now
working on
versus.
year round, but if we're asking the school, if they work ball game, to pay them
Yeah,
themselves.
okay.
There's a lot of stuff to talk
All
about.
right, what's your schedules? Let's see, we usually, at least on the Thursday, not next week, I'm on my honeymoon. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
have mercy.
Yeah, well, she was sick 10 days and then I got sick 10 days, so we finally going, get out of here. Anyway, so next week, no, but the next week after
The
that.
last week of June?
Yes, last week. of
I'll
June.
be in Florida.
All week,
That's vacation.
all week.
That's a perfect time to have it.
Yeah.
I think as long as we can work it in before
Yeah,
the next meeting would be,
yeah.
Okay.
because I think we need to do that.
Next
first
meeting is
reading.
July, what?
July 4th.
July 11th. No, don't say the 4th.
July 11th.
Yeah.
July
July
11th.
4th
I
is
won't
the
be at
Thursday.
I'll be at-
First
You
Thursday.
being on?
You'll be on
I never
vacation.
go on vacation, so unless I'm at a doctor.
Oh.
Vacation.
Wow, that's a good time meeting that in
Yeah.
because.
Where you gonna be?
I'm on vacation.
Me
You
too.
go on vacation. What we have for? What's there?
Well, I mean, I'll be back Wednesday night, so if you want to do it next Thursday or not Friday, of course.
Do we need to reschedule the July meeting since Mark and Tommy both will be gone?
Okay. July, when is it?
July 11th.
We'd have to
It
do
would be a special meeting, but
Well, I mean, if you get 4, but who knows what could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You all don't trust this, do you?
No.
well, you don't know if somebody else
I
is
didn't
sick.
say that.
Yeah.
If somebody's sick, I mean.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Okay.
I can't do next Thursday.
Can we,
I have another meeting next Thursday.
No.
Unless we do it early. My meeting is 7:30 next Thursday, when I have to go to. I can do it like after
5
5 o'clock.
I'm off next Thursday.
5.
I'm off next
I can do
Thursday is
anytime
gonna
after
be-
5.
I'll be back Wednesday night.
Okay, so we'll do Thursday and the 20th.
Thursday. You good?
Thursday the 20th?
You good?
Yes.
All right. So
Thursday the
we
20th?
We have planning and zoning meetings that night.
Yes, I know.
What time?
Well, we can meet in,
Yeah, they'll meet in my house.
Yeah, we-
In my house.
Let's
So-
make it early.
So the 20th and what time?
125 South
5
Sickle.
o'clock.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock. Hey, she's a chef.
And this
I'm
is
telling
about
you.
the SR,
Yeah,
right?
as long as we put it on your goals.
It's
Yeah.
our
So,
That's it.
So SRO next
SRO contract.
our
contract,
On 6/20 at 5 o'clock.
6:20 at 5 o'clock. And we'll meet in my office because they have their,
So can we go ahead and schedule the July meeting then while we're on here?
yeah.
We start at 6, so I mean, I don't know how long you're gonna go.
Yeah, it's an SRO contract. We're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah.
We could always start here too long.
Yeah, that's
Reach
great.
out, I don't have to.
July then, let's make a motion, to have a special meeting. Who's got that?
We don't have to make. a
Or do we,
motion to
oh,
do
we
it.
don't, okay, sorry. Okay, how about the July meeting? You're gone? You're gone?
Can we,
Can we get the 18th?
What's the 18th? Is that that's
That's the
the,
next following
that's the
Thursday.
tourism meeting.
No, it's the following Thursday.
Well,
Tourism.
Because the 4th and then the 11th, you'll be going
That's
to the
important.
18th.
oh, okay, the 18th?
The tourism would be.
You
be
guys?
back by the
You need it back by the 18th?
Yeah.
You're going the week of the 8th.
But that's gonna be a special meeting, right?
Yeah.
Wait, the 18th?
Mm-hmm.
See, I've got that, no, I have another meeting on the third Thursday at 7:30, which I can miss that meeting. It's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's.
this will be at 6.
Can we do it earlier?
Yeah,
Well,
it'll be a
it's a
special
special
It can
meeting.
be anytime you want because it's a special
Can we
meeting.
6:30 or 6 o'clock?
You can do it at 5.
We do it.
That's planning zoning July too.
Right.
Well, I can do 6 o'clock. 'cause
We
I'm-
can meet over there.
Yeah, we can, we can have.
We just need to plan ahead.
Yeah.
If we need to go over there.
I knew it was special. I knew it
July
was-
the
I mean,
18th.
you all can move yours because yours ain't a special meeting, this would be a special
All
meeting,
right.
because I have to put the location.
Special meeting.
Just send me a message.
You wanna do 5 again, or we doing 6?
5
5?
p.m. Special meeting on July
18th.
18th.
Okay, I'm
To
good.
Thursday.
replace the regular meeting.
Yeah, right. Do we don't need a motion or anything?
No, I think we need to change our meetings to 6 instead of 6:30. Why don't we do 6:30?
I don't know why we didn't.
That's you all.
I was
Yeah,
you all
yeah,
fine.
you gotta
Is that an ordinance?
5 is
or-
better than
No,
me.
it's just always been,
It's always
So
been
now we
6:30.
know.
Don't
We
matter
can
to
do a
me.
motion to do it at 6.
yeah.
You know, 5:30.
Okay,
Yeah, because whatever you post is what the official.
We need to,
Well,
I
I'll-
should Tara, make sure that.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we change meeting regular.
Well, can
meeting.
Tara be here?
Well, we need to wait and ask her and
Yeah,
stuff.
let's wait
We
till
just
she's
not
She's
here.
good with it.
It's just, it's just.
You got her on
you know,
speakerphone
we're-
over there?
Hey, I will when you're done.
She's on a cruise, you ain't gonna call her.
Yeah, you can make a motion and vote that she's good with it.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay, we can do it, we'll do it. We can do it at, we can do it at a special
As
meeting.
long as we have it on.
We could add it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
No, well, no.
Okay.
So we could also add that on the special meeting,
For next
to
week?
change the time from
Yeah,
6:30
add to
to
the
6.
special meeting.
Yeah.
is Karen supposed to be back by?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm hungry.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
Rhonda.
Hey.
Oh. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? You could be shot if you didn't.